Hey guys, it's Dave from Skullcraft Customs, formerly Ad Hoc Robotics Group. Kind of still doing that, but without funding. So anyway, that doesn't go very far. So today, I'm just going to show you a couple little projects I've been working on. Most of you know I was working on a robot. It was kind of like a tracked robot. This is what that just happened. So what happens when your shop is based out of an apartment garage. Anyway, this shows you kind of what a robot looks like when it's all disassembled, all the chains and linkages and all the bizarre stuff. This agitates me. But anyway, so if you're a creator of things like I am, you have a tendency to be always building something. As a dude, the typical problem is your wife's always like, "Are you ever gonna finish anything?" Probably not. It's because my mind is going 24/7. In my opinion, that's actually a curse, because about the time I get in the middle of something, it spawns another idea, and I just can't handle myself, apparently. Over here, this is a half shell of a ceiling fan helicopter that I'm making, and that has been put off. Mainly because I ended up moving, and it's fiberglassing. It's a bunch of nightmare. This right here, this is a cardboard mock-up of a boat that I call the Autono. Autono meaning autonomous, and that is a project that I have always been working on. For whatever reason, I got into boats for a while, and I'm still stuck into it, apparently. This is way back in when I had a company I called Aerosight. That's when I first got into drones. At the time, drones didn't exist. I'm experimenting with joysticks in there off of flight controllers to a computer screen. At the time, nobody was doing that. Pretty proud of that kind of stuff. Doing things that nobody has done. This is a system that I developed that is basically, you take an aerostat blimp, and you can see I got 10 canisters of propane, and the idea is there's a pick-a-vey system, basically a chassis. This goes up on a tether up to 1,000 feet, and it provides two-way radio command channels and cell phone links in areas where, we'll just say, tornado or something hit and you had no communications anymore. That's what that is. This is an airplane when I used to help a company called Peak Aviation. You can see the date on that. It's 2009. That airplane was basically designed to be brought in quickly and sent into the air, and it maps out forest fires. Completely autonomous off of control from a laptop, and it's satellite guided like GPS. This is, oh, I need a better camera. This is the Autono catamaran. This has been in development for several years because I'm not in a big hurry. It's not being built for anybody. It's just built for me, and as an experiment test bed. The front area here is so when you're standing in front of the boat in the water, you can access the echo sound systems, basically the little laptop type thing, a hummingbird setup, so you can do mapping. Seafloor. Rear view camera because it tows payloads. This is the speed controller system that's designed to operate skid steer and guide the boat autonomously. Motor mounts, which actually are like these slip on like that, and then that type of trolling motor is what they're... Jetty, say hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, that's my son. He's an awesome little dude. He's very technical. This lifts up here. The orange container there houses stuff that can't get wet in the event that something happens. The two side pods are basically for batteries. Nothing terribly exciting there. Now I'll go outside. This is my big project. It's kind of my priority right now. This is my large Autono. Let me switch views here. Okay. So one of the things that, you know, clearly I can build boats out of fiberglass and the, you know, glass and stitch kind of methods, and that's totally cool. But sometimes it's cheaper to buy something already done, hack it up, and make it your own. Now what I'm doing here, right now I'm doing some body work and different things, you know, because it's got some drama. When I first bought this, this is a Hobie Cat, a 14-footer, which is 16. If I would have had a choice, I would have done 16, but I couldn't find a 16-footer for under like $2,000. Now these boats, you can pick these up on average between $500 and about $2,000, ready to go with trailer and everything. Trailer's important to me because I don't want the hassles of building one, spend another couple of grand. So I picked this whole boat up for $400. What I didn't like about it is I don't want it to look like I hacked somebody else's stuff. So I had to make it my own. So one of the problems I have is, if you look here, the shape of these aluminum braces that handle the what's called the trampoline that normally people sit on, it's this oddball shape. And so I can't buy anything aftermarket to fit that, and I don't want to machine anything, not while I'm in the trial runs of experimenting. This may completely flop, and if it does, I don't want to have $50,000 into it. So what I like to do is I have a tendency to, I'll build the first one, prove that it will work and that my ideas make sense, and then I'll pursue investors. And that's how I got really heavy into the drone thing, is I was building things that nobody had ever seen before, and investors recognized that that's an opportunity. So anyway, so what I figured out is a 2 1/4 inch exhaust tubing that I can buy elbows for at different angles. I can get tubing like no tomorrow. Stainless steel tubing right now would be my preference, but it's about $34 a foot, and frankly I'm broke. So anyway, what I did is I just put an exhaust tube in here, use the existing bolts. I'll 3D print a cap that will cover this. This right here is a problem because this little gap right here allows access all the way down into this pontoon, which potentially, when I pulled this apart, I actually ran into problems. There was a ginormous ant farm going on in here, thousands and thousands of carpenter ants. I didn't want them to get access into the pontoons and potentially destroy something. So anyway, there's that. Took care of that problem. So the idea is this is modular. So because I have everything bolted together and not welded, that allows me the ability to change this out through a period of time when I keep changing my mind, because that's what I do. What you're going to see in the future, this is held on with U-bolts, and you can see I can slide this way, I can modify it any way I want, but the initial plan is I'm going to make a pivoting device that comes across here. There'll be 2 trolling motors on each side, and that pivoting pole will be controlled by a linear servo, and that will lift up and get the motors out of the way for when I'm bringing it into the trailer. It'll also allow me to change the angle of attack on the thrust line, which will allow it to plane a little more. But realistically, for what I'm trying to do, this boat isn't intended to really plane. It's going to be driving as flat as possible because it's going to be a mapping rig. This right here is just an experiment I'm doing. This will be a I will be running the GPS antenna on the top of that when I go to build it, and it'll actually be higher. Now the plan is there's going to be a welded pole across here from there to there, and another one here to there. And what that's going to allow me to do is give me some anchor points in other directions on the different axes that will allow me to put some other devices attached on here. If I can figure out a way of bolting it on here, like maybe make a saddle on the end of the tube and a bolt that runs through, I may do it that way, but I'll probably weld it. The plan is that this will be seating areas for people. So on each side of this, I have this much room. There's going to be fold down seating that when it's in robotic mode, you fold the seats down and it becomes a flat area that potentially things could be mounted to. If you're riding around in it and operating it that way, you'll just flip the seats back. You'll have this kind of reclining seat, and you'll be sitting on the side. You can flip your legs over on here and stand up on the pontoon, whatever you got to do. Jet's out here. He really wants my cell phone. But he has to wait because it's my turn. The plan is there'll also be some pivot points off the ends of here. There'll be some bow systems that come up in the air like this. And then there'll be a rack of probably 6 solar panels. And then I'll probably leave it up there all the time, but the intention is to fold it down over this area, and then there'll be a netted area here or additional platforms. I really want to mount an ROV, underwater submarine system, that will come off of a spooled up electric, winch, and that'll drop the camera system down. If you ever want to see something cool, look at the Discovery Channel. I think it's Discovery Channel. One of those guys has this cool camera system. They lower it to the deepest parts of the ocean, and they leave it there, and it films, and then they hit a button and it floats to the surface. It's kind of the same idea. But anyway, imagine you got a not a canvas, but basically an awning that's a solid awning made of 6 solar panels, which, if you estimate sizing of the typical ones, 6 of them will be equal to about that square footage right there. So anyway, that'll be not real high, just high enough that if you're sitting in this seat, it's just above your head, so probably here, and then that allows this battery and electronics area to still open. This hatch here will actually open in either direction, which is kind of cool. So again, this is going to be a pilot optional boat that I call the Autonocat, and it's the first of its kind. And if it's successful, I'll probably keep it for myself as a demonstrator, and then I'll pursue funding and manufacture these for people. I actually have the sheriff's office is interested in this for search and rescue applications. It'll have side scan sonar and stuff eventually when I can get some kind of funding. But anyway, okay, Jetty, tell everybody bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Have a great day.
Yeah, that's my little man. He's autistic, and he's come so far in the last couple of years. But anyway, so there you go. Projects at the Skullcraft Custom Lab and Ad Hoc Robotics. So I'll see you soon. I'm going to post this online. Got any questions, comments, just look me up.